Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs, aka Rickon Von Dickon. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
Everything's going well, Richard.
Good.
We're having a wonderful week since I talked to you last. So
is that right?
Everything's great. Yeah.
I love to hear that, Ryan. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel really good that you're feeling good.
I'm feeling good
all around. Hey, already November, am I right?
Already Movember.
It's Movember, everybody. Get out there. Davey's got the link pinned to his Twitter profile at rvond. Very easy to donate there. So
in a very worthy cause. Very, very worthy cause with supporting men's health. Yep. I would say that I would venture a guess and say that 95% of our listening audience is male.
Yeah, that's a good guess, Ryan.
A good stab, right? If I were to guess the Rotten Tomato score, that's what we would
low. That might be low.
Might be low, but God, I know we have a couple female listeners out there, so
we do. That's true because actually we've mentioned that before. And then we got emails that said, "Hey, don't forget about us.
We're out here too.
Don't forget about us."
We see you working out there.
Fair enough. No doubt. No doubt. All right, Ryan. We got a busy episode because this is This is beginning our best of the decade series. You can see by the episode description, this is television shows. But before the end of the year, we will also get you movies, video games, and comic books.
It's going to be a long series of things. A lot of homework. We typically don't do a lot of homework, but these are going to involve some.
This requires homework. So I would also urge you to hit us up both on Twitter at Dork Podcast and on the email dorkpodcast@gmail.com. And let us know ahead of time some of your favorites, ones that we need to include on our list, or at least think that we should, so you can get out in front of it. Give yourself a little homework assignment. We're
out here doing it. We're grinding.
We are. We're out here.
Homework too.
All right, Ryan. Let's see. We get to the old news. All right. First things first, Ryan. Disney Plus is out. It is available. Have you taken a spin around the block yet?
Oh, that sure have.
Nice. Look at
sure
you.
Have. I watched. First of all, I signed up for it around 7:00 in the morning.
Okay.
By 7:30, I had it on my Apple TV, and me and the daughters were taking a stroll through what Disney had to offer, and it is robust.
There's a lot going on, right?
They have on there. Yeah.
Where did you begin?
I began with I wanted to start with The Mandalorian.
Yes.
I was vetoed.
Two young daughters would probably go in a different direction, I can imagine.
And we did. We went with Frozen.
Yep. Well,
to start.
Hey.
We went with Frozen to start.
Tried and true.
Although I will say that it was in 4K UHD, so it was beautiful. Something to behold.
That is a beautiful scene.
That's nice on that 70-inch TV that I got,
Good for you. Brag.
HDR too. Just saying.
God, that must look real crisp.
Real nice.
That must look cookie crisp.
Cookie crisp. So that was nice.
This might sound crazy. Now, I didn't watch it, but when I was scrolling through, this was like an insane thing. And I wonder if anybody else had the same feeling come over them as you're going through and you're looking at all the things that are available. And I said to myself, do I want to watch the Star Wars prequels? I literally said that to myself. I didn't, but the thought crossed my mind, and I'm not sure why.
The other thing that happened today is I came home, and I guess my daughters were very excited to continue watching all of the Disney programming they could. Yeah. And what do you think they landed on? I walked in the door, and what do you think they were watching?
Oh my God. It's so robust. It could be literally anything. They were watching Toy Story 2.
Incorrect. They were watching an episode of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Can't go wrong.
I was like, all right, you want to throw in some Darkwing Duck? They're like, not really. That looks scary to me. I'm like, okay, well, another time.
I did see that Darkwing Duck was trending on Twitter, and I'm like, this is a great day. This is going to be a great day.
It's a great day.
So the only thing I actually watched, because I did what I do, like when I turn Netflix on, is I just scroll through stuff for a half hour, then don't watch anything. And so I was doing that, but I did watch The Mandalorian, and I gotta say, this is completely spoiler free. So if you haven't watched,
spoiler free. Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
Yep.
So this is, I guess, somewhat of a spoiler, but it's not really. But I'm upset because it was spoiled for me. So basically, the thing that happens at the end of the episode, that's not a spoiler because things happen at the end of episodes. So that's not a spoiler at all. The thing that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was on Twitter. I was like scrolling through Twitter.
Oh, that sucks because I didn't see it. I think because I finished watching the episode at like 10 o'clock in the morning, so I hadn't been on Twitter by that point. But I'm so sorry.
I was
so sorry that happened to you.
Fucking annoyed, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Because when I saw this, it was probably maybe while I was on the air today, so it was like midday.
Yeah.
And so the thing had only been available for a handful of hours.
Couple hours, yeah.
And like the big headline was like Disney Plus drops, and then like blah 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 in the Mandalorian. I was like, what? I'm like, wait a minute. Why would you write that?
And again, I know this is spoiler-ish, but it was cool. Like, it was cool. So like
I still thought it was cool, and I understand this is episode 1 of however.
So there's there's a long way to go there.
Yeah, and there was plenty of other stuff that was really cool, but I'm just like, what? Why? Who's doing that? Why would you spoil something like that?
And
people, man.
But the thing is fuck, that show's good.
The show's awesome, dude.
It's good. If
so
they keep doing
Jon
what they
Favreau
did,
is amazing. Jon Favreau was great. Jon Favreau is one of our favorite people. And so, did you notice? And maybe this is how they would do it in some of the bounty hunter stuff. But the outfit that the Mandalorian has, like the thing in the middle, he has like a little center console that has to be a tip of the cap to Iron Man.
Must be. It has to be.
Has to be with Favs.
It has to be.
But awesome start.
And they have their own version of what would be like Valerian steel. Like it's their own kind, which I think is super cool. And the fact that just that character is awesome.
Now, do you think it's
I did like Nick Nolte too.
Yeah, Nick Nolte, Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Do you think it's bullshit that all the episodes aren't available at once, or are you okay with the ones?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because again, there's so much stuff to watch.
Oh my god, I didn't like the idea at first, but I've completely warmed up to it, especially because I have like TV shows that I'm watching. I have HBO shows that I'm watching. I have Netflix shows that I'm watching. So I'm like, if The Mandalorian, if all 9 episodes were available right now, we wouldn't be recording this. I'd be watching it. You know what I mean? So
if they just got to keep doing what they're doing, like don't try to jump through any hoops. Like just keep doing this. I love this like spaghetti Western Star Wars.
It's awesome. It's
really
so good.
Cool. Yeah.
So this will 100% be a standalone episode. So if you guys are thinking about dipping your toe in, I would go. I would dive in. I would dive into it. Right. Speaking of TV shows, Rick and Morty is back, baby.
Is it ever too?
Pretty cool episode.
That was a solid episode.
Solid episode is right.
Death crystals. I thought that was brilliant, and I love. And first, listen to our episode on Rick and Morty if you want to know how we really feel about it. But like, I love when Morty tries to take control of things.
It was a good Morty episode
because it just completely drops the ball. Like every single, it's awesome.
But it was one of those things too where you just get like so many different versions of Rick and so many different versions of Morty. It's just like it's comical.
Yeah, Wasp Rick was pretty cool.
Wasp Rick, yeah. I mean, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's Sunday nights at 11:30 on Cartoon Network. So they're doing 5 episodes now, and then taking a break, and then doing 5 more. So that's going to be over before we even know it. Ryan, did you see some of the hullabaloo that was on the internet?
Not clearly. I didn't see it clearly, but there was some hubbub there.
There is a little bit of rumors out there that there could be Scream 5 in the works.
And people are like on board with it. There's like rumors that what's her name?
Nev Campbell?
Yeah, that woman whose name I forgot because I don't know what else she's doing now. You know, what's she doing?
Living her life, probably.
Living her life like Sydney. She's just trying to get away from all this Scream business.
It depends on if you take the Scream 3 elements or if you're just going Scream 4. Maybe she's an author right now, Ryan.
Or maybe it's like are they going to Halloween it where they forget the other like 3, 4, and 5 or 3 and 4 happened and just like start from 2 again?
They could. Now the one thing they can't do is have Wes Craven direct it. Of course, pick of the pod.
Wes Craven.
Too bad.
Yeah.
But
who would you pick to direct it? If you had to pick a director, who would you pick?
Ooh, James Wan. Probably.
Yep.
Or
what about like
Eli Roth?
Danny McBride.
Oh, maybe like a comedy guy like Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Speaking of rebooting things successfully, make Danny McBride do it.
What about speaking of reboots, Ryan? The trailer, we tweeted this out from Dork Podcast. Kind of came out of nowhere here. The Invisible Man.
I actually didn't watch this yet.
No, I don't have a whole lot of interest in it.
No, I didn't see it.
No,
couldn't see it. I wouldn't see it.
You couldn't see it. You missed it.
Missed it.
You missed the Invisible Man, huh?
Right by Davey Eyeballs. That one.
All right. Well, that's all the news I got. You want some
That's
news?
all the news.
News?
Yeah. So, did you see the Sonic the Hedgehog redesign?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I mean, I still don't really care to see it.
No, I don't really care to see it either. I don't know if that movie makes any sense to me.
I was a big Sonic the video game guy. I was a big Sega guy. I'm all about Sonic, but I don't know, the track record of video games into movies, it's horrible. We actually did a whole episode on it. It's atrocious.
So, and there's this whole thing where he's like an alien, but he has like powers, and like people are trying to steal his power. The whole story like doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
He was reading a Flash comic book. I was like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose.
I don't know, man. He's a hedgehog. It's a fun video game.
But he's not, because they call him an alien in the trailer, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, we're all aliens to somebody else.
We're all aliens to somebody, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I don't know.
Right. Do you have news?
I got a little bit of news.
All right, what do you have?
Just a light news. So, two big things. Speaking of the Star War, Fallen Order is coming out.
Oh yeah,
this Friday. I'm a little worried. There's an embargo on the reviews.
Well,
that's never good. And so, EA is spinning it and saying like, well, we don't want people to spoiler it.
Okay.
Or I said spoiler it, but I meant spoil it.
I kind of like that. I think that can catch on.
They want to spoiler it.
Don't spoiler it. Please don't spoiler it.
Don't spoil the ending for us.
It's spoiled. It was spoiled.
Oh, I was going to play the game, but someone spoiled the ending.
I mean, maybe. I feel like there's a couple of examples that we've had in the past of movies that had the embargo up for a while and then were actually pretty good. So I think it is possible.
But it is EA.
Yep.
And their track record with Star Wars games is not good.
No, I think Star Wars Battlefront is the single biggest waste of money on a video game I've ever spent.
But they did, because it's EA, they had to come out and say that this is a single player game.
Yeah.
There are no microtransactions, and there never will be. So they had to qualify that so people would actually buy it, because EA is the worst.
The pits. The absolute pits.
Yeah, and then they are just... I don't know why people keep buying their games. I don't know why people keep buying Madden and FIFA and all those games. Like, people know that those have been the same games for 20 years, right?
Yeah, I think they're
like nearing 20 years.
Yeah, but they update.
Looks like we've lost. Oh, is he back?
Oh, am I back? Oh,
there you are. Me? I lost you for a second. That was weird.
God, heavens to Betsy.
That's all right. We'll edit that in post. It'll be fine.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah,
I'm sure we will.
I just looked up at my web. I looked up at the feed, and all of it was just me. And I was like, oh boy.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
It says we're going. I don't know.
It didn't. It said live the whole time, so we're
all right.
Footloose and fancy free here.
My internet connection for the birds. We've been running so much Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Anything else video game related, Ryan?
Yeah. So, Google Stadia is coming out this week as well, and there is a 12-game list that's going to be available at launch. And it is a lukewarm list at best. Richard, would you like to know the 12 games?
Yeah, hit me.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I never finished, but is a fine game.
I'd play that, yeah.
Destiny 2, the collection, which is, I guess, is all like the DLC and everything like that.
Okay.
Just Dance 2020. You into that?
No, I don't think I am.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Yep, I'll play that.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh God, I'm still riding a horse.
3 Tomb Raider games, if you can believe that.
Probably 3 too many.
And the rebooted Samurai Showdown. And then a couple games I've never heard of before.
Nah.
3 Tomb Raider games. You have Tomb Raider, the definitive edition.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Okay. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which for some reason has a definitive edition as well.
Seems like too many Tomb Raiders, Ryan.
A lot of Tomb Raiders. If you're putting out 12 games and a quarter of them are Tomb Raider games, I don't know, man.
We're overselling it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little much.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's all the news I got. I know we got a lot to do today.
All right, let me ask you a very simple question, although it could be difficult as well. Are you ready for the topic du jour? Right?
Sorry, the what? I'm not sorry.
Did we lose the connection again?
Yeah, I lost it. Yeah, I lost the connection.
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day. And today, it begins our very important series. Not just best of the year, Ryan. Any sucker can do best of the year. This is best television shows of the decade.
And this was difficult.
Decade. Yes, it is. And I was really upset with you with some of the shows, and we'll get to some of the shows that you left off. So here's the deal. Here's how it happened.
Well, there's so many. There's so many.
It's vast.
I even made a list of shows, and I wrote this in the email. I'm looking at it right now. It says I know list of, and it's a list of shows I know I need to watch, and people keep bugging me about. There's like 10 of them.
Listen, you're already running hot. Just take another sip of gingy, and listen. Let me just explain this first.
Like I am so mad. I don't. Never mind.
I'm mad at you.
There was a joke
two.
there. There was a joke there.
There's two that I'm mad at you about.
And then I know one of them, and it was just a complete whiff on my part, and we'll get to that because I keep saying how it's one of my favorite shows, and I left it off the list.
So what happened was Davey and I each did a top 15 list, and whatever show we had as our favorite show or the best show, and to me it's the same thing, gets 15 points, and then all the way down. So whatever show has number 15 gets 1 point.
Yep.
I also had some other like honorable mentions that we can get to and things like that. And so basically we just mash them up, and then we got a top. We're gonna throw a top 20 at you, gang. You got to get ready for a top 20. Although we're really gonna focus in on the top 10. I will also say because it's only a 2-person panel, there's 100% really good shows that we have not seen.
And that's the list I made. The list I was like, I know, like, for instance, I've never seen The Leftovers.
Yes.
I've never seen Man in the High Castle. I've never seen The Americans.
So I
know those are good shows.
The Americans is the one that I wanted to single out because I'm sure if we both saw it, it would be up there, top 5. Everybody loves that show. It's on all of these lists. Oh, and the other part of our ruling here is it had to be shows that debuted in 2010 and kept going. They can still be going on right now. They don't have to be completed. But you'll see if you go online, there's some best of the decade lists that include shows that started in like 08 or 09 and bled into the decade. We're not counting those.
Like Breaking Bad, like The Office, like those don't count.
Yes. Like Always Sunny, like all those, like those don't, they've been on for so long. They don't count. So anyway, Ryan, anything else? Any other ones that we trying to think? Oh, Chernobyl. I know a lot of people like. I've never seen that.
America was the one with O.J. Simpson, like the American Crime Story or something like that.
I did see that. I didn't vote for it.
All right, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, hit us up on Twitter and on email and let us know ones that are your favorites. Again, of the decade. Real quick, 20 through 11.
Okay.
Let me just rattle them all off, and then we can comment on them after if you want. Number 20 was Mindhunter. 19, Watchmen.
Already.
4 episodes.
4 episodes. I already love it.
Fucking awesome.
I love it.
It's awesome. 18, Silicon Valley.
Yep.
17, Daredevil.
This is the one. I'm sorry.
I can't believe you didn't
left
this on the list.
I left this off my list, and I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have.
So Daredevil should be much higher because it was on my list. It was not on yours.
Admitted, it should be much higher. Yes. It was not. It didn't even make my list. That's how many good shows came out this decade. It didn't. I totally forgot about it.
And I had, even though, and the reason why I put Daredevil there, so Jessica Jones season 1 individually might be the best of the Netflix Marvel, but the 3 seasons of Daredevil are far and away together the strongest.
Agreed.
So I had that high on my list. 16, Broadchurch, which I know you've never seen.
Never seen it.
It's a fantastic whodunit. It's a BBC show. I highly recommend it. David Tennant, who's awesome. The woman who won the Oscar for that one with Emma Stone in it.
Yes.
Like she's like a queen of some sort. So she's in this too. Number 15, Big Mouth. 14, Bob's Burgers. 13, The Boys.
Yeah, just missed.
Yeah, that was close. I think if season 2 had already been out, it had a better chance. Number 12, Boardwalk Empire. And number 11, Ryan, I Think You Should Leave.
You must have had this so high on your list.
I did. I had a crazy high. It might have been in my top 5.
Yeah.
And again, another one where if season 2 was already out, it would probably be better chance of it to make the list.
And hopefully season 2 is equally as weird and equally as funny. So when we do this again, we can add it to the list. And
we can get to some more honorable mentions maybe at the end of this because I don't want to spoil too much with narrow down what our picks are. But so there was 20 through 11, and that was sort of more of a good mix of like ones that were on my list and not on Davies and vice versa. Out of the top 10, I think there was really one that I had that you didn't and one that you had that you didn't, and then like 8 overlaps, I believe.
Oh yeah, I know that. I can guess what they are right now too.
All right, so let's
kick it off.
You kick things off with number 10.
So number 10, and this is a show that I came into late, and I'm still working on the first season because, as you know, there's so much TV to watch that I can't get. And that is Atlanta. So I started watching Atlanta. I love it. I think Donald Glover is everything that guy does is awesome. I think he's. We don't like to use the G word here, but he's very, very smart. He's very, very funny. The show is captivating. The music is awesome. And it's just a show that kind of came not out of nowhere, because I think Donald Glover was pretty hot at that time.
Yeah.
But Zazie Beetz is awesome. Is that how you say her name? Like Zazie?
I think it's Zazie Beetz. Yeah.
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz.
And it's just it's a really, really, really good show. And Lakeith Stanfield is awesome. So if you're not watching Atlanta, you definitely should be. It's on FX. You can watch all of them on Hulu, I believe. Yep. So just definitely check that show out. It's very, very well done.
Yeah, I mean, Glover's so good. And then the guy who plays Paperboy, Brian Tyree Henry.
Yes.
He's great too. He's in other things. And then like
Paperboy.
Lakeith Stanfield and Zazie Beetz have
they're great.
Really taken off from there. And so this is a show, as Davey said, it's on FX. It's only 2 seasons so far, 21 total episodes. Mm-hmm. But I believe it's been picked up for a 3rd and 4th season.
It should.
And as you can imagine, all of the actors involved are very busy. So it may get kind of pushed back a little bit, because they're all in everything now. Yep. But that show's great. Number 9 on our list is True Detective.
And which, I'll let you hand this one off to you.
I was going to say, and obviously an HBO show, 3 seasons worth, 24 total episodes. Season 1 was all the way back in 2014. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those ones, sort of like American Horror Story, which, spoiler, did not make the list. But it's one of those ones where each season, they really are standalone seasons. Although there is some slight tie-ins, right? You know what I mean? Some minimal tie-ins where you can watch each season as its own. But what hurts True Detective, the reason why it's not higher is because season 2 was so bad.
Season 2 was so bad. And I feel like if they picked one of those roads and focused on that, and because remember they did it was 3 separate stories. Yeah, it was the Rachel McAdams story, it was the Colin Farrell story, and it was the Tim Riggins story, or Vince Vaughn, or whatever.
No, there was 4 stories. Yeah, there's 4 stories.
Pick one of those storylines, and it would have been good.
Because Rachel McAdams acted the shit out of that.
She was great, and Colin Farrell. I thought Colin Farrell was pretty good.
He actually was good.
Vince Vaughn was awful.
Yeah, I love Vince Vaughn, but
he was awful.
Show for him.
But the first season of the show, like you said, and the 3rd season of the show were great. So, and again, just the 2nd season was what knocked it down. But I remember the first season. You talk about Atlanta kind of coming out of nowhere. The first season, we weren't really sure. And again, Woody Harrelson had already established himself at that point as a legitimate actor. This is so many years after Cheers. Yeah. He's been in a lot of things where he's really good. But I don't think a lot of people realize that Matthew McConaughey was as compelling an actor, because some of his movies that he's been in since came out after the fact. Because this came out in 2014, and what was the movie he was in with Jared Leto? So that was Dallas Buyers Club. So that came out right before this.
Oh, okay.
But it was weird. Like you said, I remember thinking
I saw this first.
He had just done Dallas Buyers Club, and I'm like, why is he doing TV now?
He was so good. He was so compelling. He's one of the better characters of the decade.
And the thing is, people give him that the all right thing, but just as equally now, people start to the time as a flat circle thing that he was talking about, that monologue. I thought
crushing beers,
Now
I think
ripping darts and hacking beers.
I think season 1's finale didn't necessarily live up to it completely. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it, but I think the show was just so good. They were kind of in a tough spot. How are you going to end that satisfying? How are people going to love it? But it really became, that was must see. You got to see what Matthew McConaughey's doing. And if people weren't watching it, you got to watch these two. And any scene that McConaughey or Woody Harrelson, or then the two of them together, anytime they were in it, plus the whole time you're like, what's going on? Right? Because that's also kind of a whodunit, which I love. And you're trying to figure out, and the use of the time jumping was amazing. Mm-hmm. Present day, and then going back to when McConaughey is clean shaven, he's got shorter hair, he's a good cop and all this stuff, and then you get him now where it looks like he's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
but he remembers everything. But then you're like, how much of it is true? How much is not? And it was just fast. Like, in fact, going through this list out of all the shows, I'm like, I gotta go back and rewatch season 1 of True Detective.
I would love to rewatch that again. And like you said, the word I'm looking for was compelling. Like I wanted to know what was happening because obviously you have these partners and they were together and they were tight, but now they're not. And like, what happened?
Yeah,
like something major happened. And
also pretty good scene
really, really
with
good.
Woody Harrelson and a lovely lady.
Her name is Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah.
You will. Yeah, she's something. Something else.
Not a bad scene. And then jumping ahead to season 3, did we do a standalone episode on this?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did. But I did my impression of Mahershala Ali, Mahershala Ali. That's enough for today, young lady. And it's like every time he played the old man, he kept going like before and after he started a sentence. Watch it again. Watch it again. He does it.
No, I won't be able to because I would lose my mind with that. Also, Stephen Dorff, excellent.
Yes, he is good. He is a good actor.
I don't think a lot of people would have seen that, but he was excellent. As was the guy who plays Cyborg. He was in it as well. Now, there's been discussions of a season 4, but nothing has been confirmed on that front.
No,
I wouldn't rule it out.
I wouldn't rule it out either, and I can't wait to see who the cast is because they attract really good actors for this show. So I'd be on board for that.
All right,
number 8, the BBC series from 2010 to 2017. It's four seasons, but each season it's only like 3 or 4 episodes, and they're like 2 hours long. And that is Sherlock, starring Lumberjack Cabbage Patch and Martin Freeman. What are some of the names they come up? There's some really good ones.
Oh my God.
Lumberjack Cabbage Patch was a good one.
Was it Lumberjack Cabbage Patch or oh God, I forget what
something Bandersnatch or something like that. But anyway, it's Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, and is a modern retelling of the Sherlock Holmes series. Martin Freeman plays Watson, who is a combat medic who has just come back from Afghanistan. He moves in with Sherlock, and then mysteries already start happening. And throughout all of them, Moriarty, who is in the Sherlock Holmes's arch nemesis, appears and seems to have a hand in it. But just a really, really cool and very well acted show. If you ever are interested in Sherlock Holmes and kind of detective stuff and whodunits and it's just a kind of a playful, often funny way of presenting Sherlock Holmes where it's almost I don't want to say it, but he has qualities obsessive qualities that you would find in someone with certain disorders.
Yeah.
So that would it's a really, really cool and clever show. And if you this is just a no-brainer. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Like I said, the episodes are super long though.
Yeah, that was the thing. So I've only seen the first, I guess, season or series is like what they call it. So like, which was basically 3 like hour-and-a-half episodes, I think. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
I saw that. I had a hard time getting into it, to be honest. Like, it's obviously really well acted. I do like the idea of like the Sherlock Holmes lore, but I don't know. Maybe it was just I was like tackling it as it's like 3 movies for a season, and then knowing that there was like 10 more of those, I'm like, oh my God! Like
they introduced this idea of Sherlock Holmes and this, they call it the science of I had to look it up again. The science of deduction and like how he does things and how he goes. Like everything is like super linear.
Yeah.
Like you have this like mark on your shirt, which means you do this, which means it, you know what I mean? He goes like down the line and it finally ends with him solving something. And I thought that whole time that was fascinating. Yeah, no, it's true. And it's like, you can see why he's Doctor Strange too. Yeah. Like, it's like pluck. I think if you watch, you're right. It's a great gateway into that. Yeah. Yeah. So this was the one that was on your list and was not on my list. Right. And I assume. Yeah, the same can go for number 7, which I think I had at number 2, and you just admitted off the top you haven't seen it, so it's not like we can really argue about it. That would be The Leftovers. HBO, just 3 seasons. It's all done from 2014 to 2017. 28 total episodes. Justin Theroux and Carrie Coon. Friend of the podcast. Unbelievable. Friend of the pod, Carrie Coon. Love Carrie Coon, one of my favorites. She shows up later.
Yes, she does.
Spoiler.
This show, though, Ryan, incredible. Now it's messed up. It's dark. It's one of those ones where it's bizarre. It's a little bit of a slow burn at the beginning, and I think that's maybe why some people dipped in and then dipped out. But I would urge you to dip back in and to continue, because season 1, it's one of these stories where one day 2% of the world's population disappears. 2%.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's enough.
And so Carrie Coon's character is at the center of it, because it showcases this small town where Justin Theroux is the sheriff. Carrie Coon is just a regular person that has a husband and 2 kids, but her husband and both kids all disappear.
That's odd.
Right, which, as we said, 2%, the chances are, and so she was looked at as, I forget what they call it, like the Lady of Death or the Black Widow, or whatever it was, because everybody sort of knew somebody. Like, if you think right now 2% of people disappear, chances are maybe you know someone, or at the very least you know someone who knows somebody who disappeared.
Like that, and if it happened in your family, that's incredibly bad luck.
Yes. But if it happens like that,
if it happens
where
to everyone in your family, like that's you have to be the unluckiest person in the world.
But there's some really dark stuff. They're also like because people are trying to explain what happened, like this new cult pops up. And so people that were living like a normal life one day,
because of course it does.
Because Ryan, it would.
Because when stuff like that happens, like,
yeah.
Do they ever? No, let me ask, because I've never seen the show. Do they ever explain why that happened?
Yeah, they give you. It's pretty satisfying. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Like there's some different things, and so I never read the book, but apparently there's a book, and that was season 1, and then that was it. And then they were like, it was a popular show. And then so it's one of those, and this is a Damon Lindelof too. This is like, Watchmen, Lost.
I tell you, he knows what he's doing.
He definitely knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Because it was a bit of a stretch. They were saying, all right, so season 2 and then season 3 were like, they're riding on their own, right? They're free falling. They don't have a book to base it off of. So they actually move location. They go from the one town somewhere else. And like, you find this town, I think it's called like Miracle, Texas. I think it was in Texas.
Of course,
where they claim like nobody disappeared.
Yeah.
So now everybody wants to go there, and they're like fighting to live there. And speaking of Watchmen, Regina King pops up in season 2, and as you can imagine, she's awesome.
Yes.
So this is another show that I'm looking forward to going back and rewatching. So if you have HBO Go or Now or whatever the hell, you can go watch The Leftovers. So I would recommend, because I know your wife tried watching it, Ryan, and she said it sucked. I would give it one more shot.
Were those her words?
She was really mean about it. I was trying to say it was a great show. She said it was horrible, and then she was really kind of nasty about it.
Just not very friendly about it.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't
much
nice.
like to when your wife starts referring to me as Jeans Picks now.
Yeah.
Jeans, what did they say? Jeans, what does Elaine say? Like, she didn't say like Gene's a bozo, or Gene's a hack, or something like that.
Gene's trash.
Gene's trash. I am Gene. So now,
try some of these Gene's picks.
Let's parlay that, Richard, into a Carrie Coon double feature.
Love it.
The next one on our list, another FX show. I must just love the Fox networks, because Fargo, which debuted in, 2014 to present, 3 seasons, even 30 episodes. And I tell you, I don't not like a season of Fargo. I love me some Fargo.
Fargo is great. And I would say the reason why Fargo is, for both of us, ahead of True Detective is because there's not that huge dip. Now, I would say
it's consistently good.
I would say season 3 was the worst of the 3 seasons.
You know what it was? It was that. And it's interesting because it's a show that we mentioned before. Who's the guy, the creepy British guy? David Thewlis? Yeah.
The shame wizard?
So the story goes that he got his part as the shame wizard on Big Mouth because of his character in Fargo. Like how creepy he was.
Makes sense.
And the whole thing with him like picking his teeth, like that whole thing was weird. And like I didn't really get. I mean, I got what was going on with the twins and like Ewan McGregor and like all that stuff, like, but it didn't really seem that straightforward. Whereas the first 2 seasons, the one with Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons was season 2, and the Martin Freeman
Yeah.
again in season 1. I love the movie Fargo.
Me too. Yeah, it's
So
very good.
I like how they kind of there's like subtle nods to the movie.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
definitely because I mean you're talking about the first season takes place in both Minnesota and North Dakota.
yep.
The second season is Minnesota, North and South Dakota, and then the third season is Minnesota. So you get the accents. You get it's always cold.
Yep.
It's always like this like winter hats and shit.
And what is it? So there's one scene where it's in season 3 where they're talking about like buying something, like using the guy, like buying like a parking garage or something like it was something crazy. Yeah. And they referenced the same lawyer that Jerry Lundegaard's father used in the Fargo movie. Like they had the same lawyer.
No,
and I can't Stan Grossman. Grossman is
yeah.
Like, just run it by Stan Grossman. Like they mentioned his name.
And
you're like, oh my God, like little shit like that. That's one of those movies I could quote word for word if I was watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie. And again, another friend of the pod, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, was incredible in season 3.
Very good. Yes, friend of the podcast.
What I just like short circuit you? You're just thinking about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, just short circuited for a second.
I mean, she's unbelievable. She's the best. So that's what I was saying. So season 3, that was the season where Ewan McGregor played twins. So he had 2 different roles in it. Carrie Coon was in it, as Davey said. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I think you could make a case that Mary Elizabeth Winstead's season 3 of Fargo would certainly be on the short list, like the nominees of best female performances of the decade.
And my wife and I talked about it as the show was going. Like she's going to win an Emmy for this.
She should have.
And she didn't.
She didn't. And you know what was really weird? As somebody that watched both shows, Carrie Coon got nominated for Fargo and not for The Leftovers, which was insane. And especially if you watch season 3 of The Leftovers, just season 3 for Carrie Coon's performance, you're like, that is insane. Like, as just somebody who watches, you really should like. Why it shouldn't really affect me whether somebody wins or doesn't win a fucking Golden Globe or an Emmy or whatever. But she was so good, it was ridiculous.
I remember you were very upset by this. You don't, like you said, that's not something that I would peg you to get upset about.
I was upset about it. And first of all, I'm like, they screwed up the nominee. Like you nominated her for the wrong show. Season 3, like she just had some scenes, like you know when you're watching a show or even a movie sometime, and you're just like. I don't know if they're going for an award, but like this is what's happening right now. Like like
they're doing it.
Yeah, like you see it right in front of you. You're like, this person's getting nominated. And Carrie Coon had like multiple moments of that in season 3. But yeah, season 1, not only was it Martin Freeman and Colin Hanks, but it was also Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, you're right.
Who was good in this. And so this is similar to True Detective, American Horror Story, where the seasons you can watch kind of on their own. But there is there is tie-ins.
There is tie-ins. It's in the same bubble.
Right. Yeah. It's like the old guy from season 1 is like a young guy in season 2.
Yes.
Right. Isn't it? Patrick Wilson is in season 2. And he is the father of the bigger girl, I guess we'll call her, from season 1.
Yeah. Yes.
And so like her dad is in season 1. He's like an old dude, like working at the diner or whatever.
Right.
And that's Patrick Wilson, like young
in the second season.
But like you don't really need to see the two. You know what I mean? Like you don't need but just so good, and the acting's great. Jean Smart, who's killing it in Watchmen.
Oh my God.
She's in season 2 of Fargo.
Oh my God. Can we talk? We need to talk about we're gonna have to standalone Watchmen too.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
100%.
I love that show.
I'm just locked in. Like normally I'm like looking at my phone, like watching a show and I like look at my phone like once or twice. I am just locked in. And can we talk about, by the way, I don't want to get too much.
Yeah.
The fucking music in Watchmen, the Trent Reznor, it was a Trent Reznor
and I think he's got somebody helping him too. But...
Oh, it's so good.
Boy.
So good. I never talk about the music in shows.
You know what show has good music? Another show, spoiler, that did not make our list because it got so fucking slappy and just off the rails in season 2. But Westworld.
Yeah.
Westworld has good music because they take like Soundgarden and then they like put it through like a fucking piano or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like a Western piano. Like
they pick Nirvana and they
Heart-Shaped Box. I remember that one. Yeah, and they did Karma Police and they did like a couple Radiohead songs from OK Computer, which were really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
by the way,
you're up.
But no, let me say this. Fargo has been picked up for a 4th season.
Yep.
And apparently the cast is going to include Chris Rock, Jason Schwartzman, and Timothy Olyphant.
Love it.
It's going to take place in 1950 Kansas City, Missouri.
So that is because that's where the mob was coming from in season 1. They were coming from Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. Oh, because what's his name?
Oh, that was season 2 with Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
The mob was coming from Kansas City.
Fuck, this show's good.
Yep.
This show's good. I'm looking forward to it.
Love it.
Yeah, it says the 4th season stars Chris Rock, who plays the head of a crime syndicate made up of black migrants fleeing the Jim Crow South who have a contentious relationship with the Kansas City Mafia. Well, okay. I like that very much.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
number 5 on our list, Ryan. Better Call Saul.
Mm-hmm.
AMC show, 4 seasons, 40 episodes, came out in 2015. And we were all kind of wondering, all right, how are they going to take Breaking Bad, which is Davey's favorite show of all time?
Yep.
My second favorite show of all time. How are you going to take that, do a prequel with, albeit one of the great characters that they have, but now you're going to surround him with a lot of new characters. How is this going to work out? You're always kind of looking for plot holes. And with anything, like with movie prequels, you're like, all right, you kind of know where they have to go. So you're already at like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Better Call Saul is fucking awesome.
It's great.
Incredible job.
It's an incredible job. And what I love about it is if you watch, I call it like the Hannibal Lecter thing. Because after watching Breaking Bad again, Saul's not in the show as much as you think he is. Like he's not in it. So he's any scene he was in, he kind of stole the show.
Yeah.
But he's actually not until like the last 2 seasons, like he's not in it that much.
Right.
So to have this character who knows everything that went on with Walt and Jesse and to play such a bigger role as he did in that story, to give him his own story. And like you said, they're kind of at the point now where they're kind of crashing into each other.
There's a lot of crossover now.
Because you have Gus Fring, you have Mike Ehrmantraut, you have Tuco, you have the Salamancas. All of these people are now characters in Saul.
And I think they had mentioned before, even back in like season 2 or 3, they're like, if we're on the air long enough, right? Because they're going year to year. So they can't really plan it out like, oh, in season 10, but they were talking about probably getting Walter White or Jesse. It's sort of getting to there. And then what I would love to see is something that El Camino didn't do was let's get a Saul Goodman or Gene, right? Isn't he Gene now?
Gene, yeah.
Let's get him after the fact and pick it up from there. I think would be cool because they do flash forwards in this too.
They do flash forwards, but I would love this show. What's his secretary's name? Because she's awesome. I forget, and this is bad on me. But,
what is her name? Because she was in a whole bunch of the episodes.
I'm gonna look now. Goodman, receptionist.
Yeah, look that up.
I'm gonna look it. I'm gonna bing it right now.
But
Francesca.
Yes, yeah, and she popped up in Breaking Bad. And
she did.
This.
So I would love, Better Call Saul to end with Francesca saying that like so someone's waiting for you in your office.
Oh yeah,
and describe Walter White, and then be the end of the show.
I don't mind that, but I think they also sort of tease you with. He got away and he's now working at a Cinnabon. And aren't you kind of curious as to what's going on with that?
Yeah, well, the vacuum guy. But we can't bring him back now. Another pick of the pod.
Sadly, pick of the pod, you can't bring him back. No, but you could bring back just where does he go from now? Like what's his...
Or does he ever get caught?
But also what we have to figure out is Kim Wexler, who is played by Rhea Seehorn, who's great.
What happens to her?
What happens
Where does she go?
And how come we never hear about her during Breaking Bad? And not that we ever really hear a whole lot about Saul during all these things.
Or his brother or any...
You never hear about his brother. And he doesn't really talk about personal stuff. But every once in a while, and after rewatching Breaking Bad, he says stuff where he's clearly just lying. Remember he said something about like an ex-wife? And you're like, well,
you didn't have an ex-wife.
Like, that can't be right.
Or he tells some story about something that happened to him. And you're like, no, that never happened. Or it didn't happen like that. Yeah.
But it's funny because you're like, they created the character of his brother by Michael McKean, who was awesome.
He's great.
And then they created his girlfriend like out of nowhere, and these characters are so good, but something needs to happen where their relationship is done.
Like he's got like you think he fucks up to the point where like Gus like takes care of some shit?
I think
maybe.
Yeah, my guess is to make it make sense where we have seen however many episodes Saul was in Breaking Bad, for there to be zero reference to Kim, she has to die.
She has to die or like go into like witness protection or something.
Yeah, right. Call the vacuum guy.
Yeah.
But this show is really good, and I thought season 1 was really strong. I think season 2 took a bit of a dip, but the last 2 seasons have been great. And
really, really good.
It's been picked up for a 5th season, so looking forward to that.
Hopefully, and 5th and final?
I don't know if that's what they said. I
don't know either. I remember reading that, but I don't know if that's true.
You could be right, but I don't know.
So we might get our answers.
Huh?
You ready for number 4?
Yes, please.
A bit of a new kid on the block to crack the top 5, Richard, and that is HBO's Barry, starring Bill Hader, 2 seasons, 16 episodes, 2018 to present, picked up for a 3rd.
Yep.
And Richard, I want you to give me one sentence on this show.
I would say it is surprisingly amazing.
It is the best dark comedy I have seen in years. Like
it is,
like by far.
Would you call Fargo a dark, like a black comedy? Dark comedy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but
so like
Barry
in the realm.
I think because like you and I and a lot of people were going to watch it just because it's Bill Hader and you wanted to see it, but then you're like, oh, he plays like an assassin, and you're like, how is this possibly going to be like it? To me, it has no business being as good as it is.
No,
because it goes from funny to serious, and you believe both. Like you're laughing, but then you super care about the characters. And Hader is a good enough actor where you don't just see him and you're not just laughing and thinking about Stefan. You're thinking about his character right now and how he just killed somebody and how he's dealing with it. It's amazing.
But it's so funny. It's so funny how good he is at playing a bad actor too. Like you have this super heavy stuff. It's almost like another movie I love, Grosse Pointe Blank, where you have like this hitman who's like going through some shit and like this like existential crisis, and all the while like the only way he can express himself is through this ridiculous acting class, and it's the juxtaposition of like hardcore murder scenes, and then like these scenes of just completely awkward acting classes.
Oh my God.
With Henry Winkler, who is fucking incredible in this show.
Like, but you had a good time.
I quote that in I know you do too. Every day, but you had a good time.
But you had a
nice time.
That scene where he's trying to get that police officer to go out with him, and then when they go out, and then like he's relentless, and like she's pretending like she doesn't like him, and then she just breaks that. But the whole time, like his attitude is so funny.
Yeah. And it's just, I've talked to people who have been like actors before, and they were like, no, I know all of those people. Like, it's not funny to me because I know all those people.
Oh yeah.
I think I was talking to Marcus from the Boxers about it, and he was like, yeah, like it's not that funny to me.
That's what those classes are like.
Because that's what they're like, and that's what everybody's like. Even Barry's girlfriend, who you wind up hating, I forget her name.
She is really good in it though.
Like, she's great, but remember when he gets the part in the movie? And she just fucking starts screaming at him.
Yeah, she's screaming at the top of her lungs.
Like that shit is nuts.
Sally.
That's it. I want to say like Sandy, but I know it's Sally. And we haven't even brought up Hank. NoHo Hank.
NoHo Hank. I mean, I've been saying a lot this episode, but if we were to do a like best characters of the decade, NoHo Hank on the short list.
When he starts I'm doing the dance on the he starts like doing like the Cossack dance or whatever.
He is really
so
good.
Funny. So funny. And I love one of my favorite character actors, I think of all, is Stephen Root, who plays Fuchs.
Yeah. Stephen Root's good.
For you guys who don't know, that's Milton from Office Space.
Right.
It's like and like that, and he's in a bunch of Coen Brothers movies and stuff. He is just super, super funny.
He was in Dodgeball. He was in True Blood. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's in all kinds of stuff.
Unbelievable character actor. And my favorite episode of TV It might be the Mandalorian now, but I loved it. I thought that was so good. Anyway,
Mandalorian was incredible. Should Mandalorian be on the list?
Not yet. The episode where he gets in the fight, the Bill Hader directed episode where he gets in the fight with the Taekwondo champion who's banging the cops. Well, I was howling that entire time. I thought that was the funniest episode of TV I've seen all year.
That was really good.
Come on, man. Because he's like, can't breathe. He's like, come on, man.
Well, the best is he breaks into the house and he thinks he's just gonna get what he needs, and then he walks into a room and it's completely filled with trophies and ribbons, and they're all for Taekwondo championship stuff.
And he's like, hey, who are these? Who's are these?
Mine. Like, oh god.
Oh, it's so good. I was crying laughing the whole time. It was like the scene in remember Me, Myself, and Irene when Jim Carrey breaks his nose?
Yeah.
And there's this scene where he's like starting to cry with Renee Zellweger, but they're still doing like the squeaking from the nose.
Oh, yeah. His nose,
I'm just
broken.
Crying, laughing. Like, I thought that was the funniest thing. And this is like a better scene of that.
It is.
Love that show. I love Barry.
So Barry's 2 seasons in right now, just 16 total episodes. So go back and watch it if you somehow missed it. All right, ready for the top 3, Ryan?
Top 3. And they're exactly probably what you think they are.
Yep, they are. And if you've been listening to the podcast for the last couple of years, it's no surprise because we've done episodes on all of these. But coming in at number 3 is Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Netflix show, 3 seasons, 25 total episodes from 2016 on. There will be a season 4. I don't want it, but we're getting it.
And this is a show, I think if we did this episode in 3 years' time and revisited this one is the one that will actually go down the list.
Oh, interesting.
Some of them will go up. I think like for instance, Daredevil obviously will go up.
Daredevil should go up. Watchmen has a chance to go up, and The Mandalorian could. It's one episode,
but like I think this is the one that goes down. And this
the boys could go up. You think Stranger Things goes down?
I do.
Because I think though that all 3 Stranger Things episodes, or seasons, have been minimum 5 stones, but I think it might be like 6, 5.5, 5.5, something like that.
The first season is a hard 6.
First season's incredible.
That's that's the only reason I'm keeping Netflix is because I love the first season so much.
First season I loved. Second, but I think
the second season had 1 bad episode.
It did, and I didn't like the new characters, but Steve does a complete 180 because as good as season 1 is, Steve stinks in it. Well, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
But then he becomes such a great character in 2 and 3. Hopper becomes even better going forward.
As it goes. I think 11 goes down. That character arc goes down.
Same with Mike, probably.
Or Will.
Yeah. But like Dustin and Mike, or Dustin and Steve, they go up.
I love those characters. I think it's awesome.
You're right. This could potentially go down. I think I might have had it 3 or 4 on my list, and that's the thing. I think you had it in your top 5, so that's why combined it came in at number 3.
Yeah, I do love this show. I thought season 3 too. I thought was a little too. I love the 80s feel of the first 2 seasons, and I feel like they got away from that.
Yeah,
in this one,
like they opened up the mall. Like you're definitely
It looked like Glow.
It did look like Glow. But I liked the new character that worked with Steve at the ice cream. Robin. I like Robin a lot.
Mm-hmm. She was a great addition. And the Sergey, the Russian guy.
Sergey was good. He was funny. And I love Joyce Byers all 3 seasons.
Do you?
Of course I do.
You're a big Winona guy?
Huge Winona guy. I had Winona tattooed on my arm.
Yeah. Now it just says Winona forever. Now it's just Wino forever. Yeah. Which that's prophecy because apparently he has an enormous penchant for wine.
Yeah, his stock has dropped, I feel like.
Oh God, have you seen him lately? Johnny Derp. He's Johnny Derp now.
Johnny Derp.
Not looking good.
Yeah, but we get Stranger Things at number 3. But you know what, Ryan? You're right. That there's a chance for it to slip a little bit. But I don't think we can get lost in just how good the first couple seasons were.
No. And all right, so we'll move on to number 2.
Yeah.
By a nose, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at number 2, Rick and Morty. Cartoon Network Adult Swim's Rick and Morty.
This was your number one.
This is my number one.
I was surprised you had it number one.
I love this show.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's become my new. I've kind of gotten away from The Office, and if I'm just gonna put something on, like as like background noise,
yeah, it's this.
Like if not to dork out like too much, but like one screen, like you're looking at, there's a screen right here, and then I'm looking at another screen like over here, like to my left and to my right. One of those screens is always playing Rick and Morty. Like I have it like on Hulu on loop, and I'm doing work on one screen and Rick and Morty's playing on the other screen. Like I just have it on all the time, and I love. I thought the season 4 premiere was just like, it didn't miss a beat. Everyone was great. I thought it was clever. It's funny. There's like running jokes that like not just like lame like catchphrases, but like running jokes throughout the show.
Yeah.
That work every single time. Like just the way it's done is and I just love it. I love this show.
Rick and Morty it's very good. And we mentioned during the news segment that it just 4th season just started, but they had like some crazy renewal where they're going to have like 1 million more episodes.
There's 1 million more planned, and I think this is the last season where it's going to be like weird like this. And then it's going to get they're on like an actual schedule now.
Yeah.
So after this season. So like,
but as we're recording right now, there has been a total of 32 episodes.
Yes.
Season 1 started back in December of 2013, so they've kind of spaced it out a little bit, but obviously an incredible show. And this is one of those ones that currently, as Davey said, it's on Hulu, but HBO Max, or no, is it Max? HBO, what the hell is it called? Is it Max?
HBO Plus, HBO Max, and HBO Now.
Nope, no, the new one that's coming out.
That's Max. They have HBO Now, HBO Go, and now HBO Max.
So when HBO Max debuts, that's the one that's like $15 a month.
Yeah.
So they've gone out and purchased things that aren't just HBO properties, and one of them is Rick and Morty.
So I'm gonna have to buy.
Yeah.
So I got Hulu. I got the bundle for Disney Plus. I don't know if we talked about that. I did get the bundle.
So I didn't get the bundle, and I was talking it out with the guys at work today, Shime and John, and the reason I didn't get the bundle is because I still have cable.
Yeah, see, I don't have cable, so
if I wanted to watch something on like one of like the regular networks, I would just DVR it, and I already have HBO.
But I know
Netflix.
something. I know something that the listeners don't know, Richard. What happened to you because of you DVR things? What happened to you?
Well, I fucked myself there.
Yeah, you did. You did. Tell the people.
Well, what happened was I had a whole bunch. Well, I'll tell them. If you let me tell them, I'll tell them. I had a whole bunch of stuff DVR'd, and I must not have set it correctly to where like don't delete unless I watch it, or don't delete it unless I delete it type of thing. And so what happened was I knew we were doing the Rick and Morty episode. So I DVR'd like all of the Rick and Mortys because Cartoon Network was doing like a marathon.
Yeah.
So I downloaded every goddamn episode of Rick and Morty, but then it deleted like 3 of my Riverdales that I had.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I can still watch Riverdale with a couple commercials.
Yep.
Like I still have on demand.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to do that. But the reason I like the DVR is I can just fast forward all that shit. But anyway.
You watch your Riverdales.
I know, but I ended up going back and I was watching them.
By the way, did you know the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty won an Emmy?
It did?
Yeah.
Good for them. What, for like action sequence?
Or like animated, like writing and animation.
Yeah.
Like the writing of it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Ryan.
Is it irresponsible that I bought, you saw me do it, a Pickle Rick plushie for my then 3-year-old daughter? Is that irresponsible?
I don't think so. I think you watching the episode with her was irresponsible, but I don't think buying the gift was.
She wasn't really watching it. She was kind of passively listening.
She was very aware that it was on. So.
She did, and she thought that the rats' heads were jelly.
Yeah.
That he was hitting them with jelly.
Nah, that was blood.
That was straight up blood and gore. That was.
Blood. Yeah. Should I rip off a couple more of honorable mentions before we get to number 1?
Yeah, let's do that. We should do that. Yeah.
A couple of the honorable mentions. This was on both of our lists, like way lower. And it's just one of those things where I think we all got fatigued on it. But at one point, it was trending as though it should have been on this list. And that was The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
At one point, it should have been on this list. I also think, and I've mentioned this before, and it's not for everybody, but I feel like the CW shows have done a pretty good job. Arrow's a good show, Ryan, and it's gotten a little silly like later on. But go back and watch season 1 and 2 of Arrow, and I think you'd be shocked how good it is. Like it's almost Netflix Marvel quality how good season 1 and 2 of Arrow are. The Flash is fun. Legends of Tomorrow's got its moments. Supergirl has its moments. Riverdale is like if you're into that kind of thing where it's just like it doesn't need to be explained. Just have some fun. Like Riverdale's a good time. I like those shows. I didn't mind Ozark. And
see, Ozark got
you didn't like Ozark at the end?
No, I did not. At the I think I still have like 2 episodes left of Ozark, and I can't bring myself to watch them.
Oh, really? From season 2?
You know what it is? It's what's her name and her family.
Yeah. I forget her name. I know who you're talking about.
It's like I want to call her Ruby, but that's not her name.
Doesn't she look like the girl that we went to high school with, who is an actress?
I thought it was her. I honestly thought it was her.
Me too. I was like, wow, she's doing well. I'm like, oh no, it's the girl that looks like her.
Yeah.
But the girl that we went to high school with, who was in Davy's class, was in an episode of Mad Men and an episode of Boardwalk Empire.
She was, and she has like her own show that's like coming out on Hulu now. Her name is Megan Ferguson. If you guys want to look her up, she graduated with us. She didn't care for it. Not either of us.
Either of us for some reason.
We were not her cup of tea.
No.
There was a maturity thing that was going on there.
What do you mean?
And you know what it is too? I think the girls that we hung out with in high school were predominantly athletes.
Yeah, she was not an athlete.
And she was not. She was a ballerina, and those 2 girl groups like did not.
No, don't cross the streams.
No,
don't cross.
We did it a couple times, and it did not work. Not to get into like anecdotes, but that did not work out. No. So can I get into my? I want to talk about a couple shows, and then we'll get into the number one. A couple shows that I. First of all, Master of None, Aziz Ansari show. He's a little bit of a creep show, but like I thought I really did enjoy that show.
I did like the show.
I really like that. And then there's a couple shows that I've seen a couple episodes of and I really like, but I want to bring them up because people can think, what the fuck? All right. First of all, I don't really watch a lot of network TV. I think FX and AMC are like the only networks I watch. But a couple shows I've seen that I want to make mention of, Marvelous Miss Maisel, The Good Place, Ray Donovan, Veep.
Oh, Veep. Veep should be on the list.
Fleabag, and Orphan Black are all really good shows. And I would say a dishonorable mention, people keep trying to shove down our fucking throat. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to watch any more of it, is Black Mirror. I am not going to watch any more of that.
Oh my God. We agree on that. Black Mirror can fuck all the way off.
Yep. I'm just, it's like, it's the Black Mirror. It's your phone.
No.
I get it. I get it.
We're all looking at a TV. It's fine. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to watch Disney Plus till
I gotta get. I'm going to watch The Mandalorian again.
I'm
watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah. What a treat The Mandalorian was.
Yep.
The Punisher was really good too. I mean, it's not going to crack our top 20, but The Punisher was good. There's
Punisher was good.
Two seasons. They're
but
both
those
good.
Are just shows I wanted to mention that I have seen them. Oh, the other one, The Goldbergs. I love The Goldbergs.
Oh, is that good?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. But that's about it for sitcom TV for me.
All right, Ryan, are you ready for number one?
Yeah.
Despite a finale not everybody loved, the number one show of the decade, according to #Dork, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. So good for so long.
It just had to be. It really did. Think about it. Not only did we do episodes for every season since we've been doing a podcast, the last season, we did an episode for every episode of the season.
And we will never probably ever do that again. And it's not because we don't like it. I would absolutely do it. I would do a Mandalorian one. I would do a Watchmen one. If we did an episode for every episode of Watchmen, I would do that.
You know what? Funny you say that. Maybe we should do, like for the Watchmen finale, maybe we should do a YouTube live thing right after.
Yeah.
Because that's how good Watchmen is.
I need it.
But Game of Thrones, 8 seasons, 73 total episodes from 2011 to 2019. And it really did give us some of the great characters of all time, like Arya Stark and Tyrion, the dragons.
You love the dragons.
Oh my God.
You didn't even say Jon Snow.
Daenerys.
You said Daenerys. The Hound was one of my favorite characters.
Beric Dondarrion was one of mine, but that's a little bit more of a
I love Beric Dondarrion. I loved Oberyn Martell.
Oberyn was unbelievable character. even like Robert Baratheon, but like just the lore, and like I know it was books, and I know a lot of you guys have read the books, and that's all well and good, but the show was just like an epic put on screen. You know, like if you watched Lord of the Rings or if you watched any of those, and to have that on a weekly basis was pretty crazy for 8 years. And I looked forward, like all these shows on our list, I looked forward to every week when they would come out. But Game of Thrones was kind of on a different level. You know, you're just trying to figure out what was going to happen, some of the twists and turns. As a guy who didn't read the book, the Red Wedding was such a big deal, and just all these different twists and turns along the way. Again, I didn't love the finale, but you can't take away just how much I enjoyed the 8 seasons of it.
I would like to officially throw my hat in the ring for the Pedro Pascal fan club. President of Pedro,
you want to be the
Pascal,
president.
who played Oberyn Martell and who also is the lead character in The Mandalorian. So
that guy knows what he's doing.
That guy's the shit.
That guy's having a pretty good time.
Yep. What'd you think of I keep talking about The Mandalorian. I can't wait to talk to you about it. What do you think of Carl Weathers? What do you think of
looks good. I think
great. Yeah.
He'd go a few more rounds.
Absolutely.
I think he'd go pretty well. But so there's our list just real quick from 20 to 1 here, Ryan. We went Mindhunter, 19 Watchmen, 18 Silicon Valley, 17 Daredevil, because Davey fucking forgot to put it on his list.
to put it on my list.
16 Broadchurch, 15 Big Mouth, 14 Bob's Burgers, 13 The Boys, 12 Boardwalk Empire, 11 I Think You Should Leave, 10 Atlanta, 9 True Detective, 8 Sherlock, 7 The Leftovers, 6 Fargo, 5 Better Call Saul, 4 Barry, 3 Stranger Things, 2 Rick and Morty, and the number one show of the decade, according to hashtag Dork, Game of Thrones.
It has to be. Sorry, man. Like I said, we had just as many problems with the final seasons as you did, but that does not erase.
Right?
Was it 6 or 7 seasons?
7 prior to that.
7 prior to that, which were fucking awesome.
Because that's the other thing too, is if you look at all the ones that made our top 10, a lot of like 20 episodes, 30 episodes, like this was 73 goddamn episodes, and almost all of them were good.
And 69 of them were good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Ryan, you ready for the pick of the podcast?
Yeah, man.
All right, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also defend a goal?
I will receive, and we'll make this easy all month long, Richard. All month long. We're going to do it again. You're looking at my face right now if you're watching the YouTube or at home. mobro.co/RvonD. Please go and check out my Movember page. Please go. If you're feeling generous, please donate. It's a very, very worthwhile cause. Just to give them a quick plug, most of the charities that you donate to, since they're public, you can look at their operating costs, and most of them, 80% of what you donate goes to like operating costs or, administrative fees or whatever. This is actually flipped. So 80% of the money you give to Movember are going directly to men's health initiatives, whereas they just keep the 20% for operating costs and paying people who very worthy, who work for them and are very worthy of their salaries. So please go and check out Movember.com and drop a little coin if you can, if you have the means. I'd really, really appreciate it. So mobro.co/RvonD. And again, it's pinned to my Twitter page. So please go and check that out. Thank you so much.
Ryan, my pick of the podcast, have you seen The Mandalorian?
Oh my God, I'm going to go watch it right after this.
So that actually is one of them. But something I didn't realize that was on Disney Plus, I haven't dipped in yet, but it's available, is the X-Men animated series.
Oh yeah,
it's all there. I didn't realize that. So
and every episode of The Simpsons.
Incredible. So you know what I might do, even though we're just past Dorktober, but some of my favorite Simpsons are all of the Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah, man.
So you can just go through and rip out a bunch of those.
And one thing I wanted to mention, too, that Disney Plus does that Netflix doesn't do, for all of their Marvel movies, all of their big ticket movies, they have bonus features and deleted scenes. Check those out.
So the best part about this, too, is this makes it so easy for us to, leading up to Star Wars, we can do... we can go back and do Star Wars episodes. We can do like mini marathons. We can do commentary. We can do MCU. We can do whatever. It's just going to be, it's right there for us, Ryan.
Right there. It's right at your finger. It's right there. You know what I mean?
Next week. So next month, we will, of course, do The Rise of Skywalker. We'll do Watchmen when Watchmen is over with. But for the most part, we're going to be doing a lot of the best of. We'll do a look back at 2019 as well, just the year specific, and we'll do everything. What do you want to do next week for
I'm going to leave it.
For the decade?
I'm going to punt. I'm going to punt here because I picked TV shows, so I'm going to put it to you.
What do you say? Do you want to do video games?
Okay, let's do it.
Are you going to be ready for that? Because I figured
I'm going to be ready for it.
Let's put movies off
till the end,
as late as we can. And obviously, like Rise of Skywalker, we might not have time to put that one in or not. But like, let's put that one off. Let's go video games.
I feel like I'm gonna talk a lot more than you are, but that's okay, right?
100%. Well, I'm very passionate about probably like 6 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have to carry it, and maybe I'll even weight your points more just because you've played more games.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do it that way too, depending on what I can come up with. But that's what we'll do. So next week will be best video games of the decade. That's going to do it. You can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and everywhere else, like radio.com and Stitcher and Google Play for the hashtag Dork Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Dork Podcast and Instagram at Dork Podcast.
We do. We actually have a viable Instagram now.
Hit us up on the gram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can watch this video on YouTube if you want. YouTube.com/Dork Podcast. And you can email us anytime, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, head over to Davey's Twitter page. First of all, follow him at RVonD. And then check out his pinned tweet and donate to Movember if you can. If you can, that'd be very nice.
If you can, I'd love it. I would love it. Thank you so much.
Anything else, Ryan?
No. Keep on mowing, man. And I am a fiend for mojitos.
No, that's what I say.
Oh, you say? Oh, sorry, shit. Sorry.
I'm a fiend for mojito. What are you?
I've never even had a mojito.
They're good.
My name's Rod. I party.
I know for a fact that you don't like to party. All right.
What did I just say?